All right, well, this is just straight up the most exciting video I've made in a while. We are doing a matchup preview. A matchup preview. I mean, it has been so long since I've done one of these, and as you guys see by the title, we're going to be taking the Minnesota Vikings cornerbacks, DBs, and how they will match up and how they will try to stop the Cincinnati wide receiving core that is extremely underrated. Yeah, these are going to be more videos on my channel that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be taking certain position groups and kind of matching them up with each other, whoever the Vikings are playing. Whatever the position group may be, where I think the Vikings could kind of be caught for a little bit. I think the Bengals wide receiving core could cause some problems for the Vikings DBs. So we're going to be doing this every week. Some teams where I think the Vikings may have an advantage. For example, we'll probably have one later on this week about how the Vikings should be able to run the ball down the Cincinnati Bengals' throats in week 1. But also, if Cincinnati is going to get a win, it starts with their wide receiving core. And they have a three-headed monster right now. Jamar Chase out of LSU, teammates with our guy right here, Justin Jefferson. T. Higgins out of Clemson, super talented kid. He was phenomenal last year. And then obviously Tyler Boyd. He's been there for a while. He knows the system really well, and he's just been really solid for the Bengals. And then you're going against the Vikings DBs. Right now, the two we kind of know for sure that would be out there. I guess there's really only one that will for sure 100% is Pat Pete, Dantzler, Chris Boyd, and Mac Alexander. Those are the four I think they're going to go with for week 1 that are going to be getting the most reps. So how do they match up? If we're taking those three versus the Vikings DBs, I think the Vikings DBs, they can handle it. My initial thoughts was they can handle it, but they better bring it. That's the number one thing. And Jamar Chase, we're going to start with him, because we don't really know what we have with him. I mean, you look at the film in LSU, and this guy, I mean, he might be the best wide receiver prospect that I've seen coming out of college in a very long time. And on top of the wide receiver class we had last year with him, Judy, Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, I mean, all of these guys, there was so much talent on the board last year. But this kid, he would have been the first receiver taken last year. He would have been the first receiver taken in probably the last 20 years. Jamar Chase, he can do it all. He's only 6 foot tall, but he's kind of got some pack to him. He's kind of got some stockiness to him. He's an incredible route runner. He's incredibly strong when he meets the ball. His route running is kind of the thing that stands out, which mainly every LSU receiver, he kind of plays like Jefferson a little bit, but he's got like an inch less, or he's an inch shorter than Jefferson. He's got some more weight on him. And if you're looking at that tape for Jamar Chase from the tape from LSU, this kid's going to cause problems. And I understand he had some bad drops in the preseason, but I just don't want the Vikings to get in there week 1 and not account for this guy. And I don't think they will. So I would assume they're going to put Dantzler on Jamar Chase. That's what I would do personally. And then I would have Pat Pete kind of not shadow a guy, but I think he'll probably be on T. Higgins for most of the game. And the reason for that being is Joe Burrow, this is his first game back. This is his first real time getting real snaps. He barely played in the preseason. I think he threw 1 pass or something like that. He had a standing ovation. He got the nerves out of the way. He was able to dress. So this won't be like his dress rehearsal, but this is his first time in real action besides the joint practice. So Joe Burrow, he already has a relationship with T. Higgins. And I think Pat Pete's a smart enough player. He's going to know that. And I think Joe Burrow is going to be relying on T a lot throughout this game. It would not shock me if we look up and T. Higgins might have 7 catches on 13 targets at the end of the game. And then the best part about this Bengals receiving core, if you look at their third option right now, it's Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is honestly been one of the most underrated, under-talked about wide receivers in the league, mainly because he hasn't really had a consistent quarterback with him wherever he was. But Tyler Boyd, he's another guy that you cannot sleep on. This kind of reminds me about when the Vikings matched up with the Cowboys 2 years ago on that Sunday night, when I believe it was not Rhodes, I think it was Trey Waynes. He got hurt, and then Mike Hughes had to step up, and he was guarding Amari Cooper. And I think Cooper's better than all 3 of the Bengals receivers. Vikings still ended up winning that game, but they got cooked in the secondary by Amari Cooper. It was mainly Mike Hughes, the one being cooked. But that's something that we might have to look out for in this game, because the Bengals are going to win this game. I think it's going to be on the outside. I think it's going to be outside the numbers. I really don't think they'll be able to run the ball on the Vikings. I just don't. I don't think the O-line is good enough. And I think our D-line, now that Everson's back, by the way, shout out that we actually got Everson Griffin back. But I don't think the Bengals will be able to set up any play action, any type of run game with what the Vikings have done on the D-line. With Eric Kendricks, he's finally healthy. He's ready to go. I'm sure Eric Kendricks will have 15 tackles in week 1. He's always ready. Barr, I don't know if he'll be there, but Nick Virgil, this is kind of a revenge game for him. And then Mac Alexander in the secondary. If he gets out there, this is kind of a revenge game for him too. I just don't think the Bengals will be able to run the ball. So if they are going to be able to beat the Vikings defense and what their game plan would be, it's going to have to be on the outside. And that's where they probably think their advantage is their wide receivers over the DBs. What I would do with Harrison Smith, I think Harrison Smith is going to play a huge factor into this game because Harrison Smith, in my opinion, he's the king of disguise. Him and Zimmer probably have the best relationship that a head coach and a safety can have. It's almost like what we see with Andy Reid and Mahomes. It's kind of like Harrison Smith is Zimmer's Mahomes. He's the leader of that defense. He's the captain. He's the one he moves around everywhere, and he's the one that's either blitzing, dropping back into a cover 2 zone. He could be playing linebacker. He could be almost coming off the edge like an edge rusher. He can do it all. So Joe Burrow, first game back, his reads are always going to be a little slow. It's not even a shot at Joey B. He's actually my fantasy quarterback this year because I waited till the last round pretty much to draft the quarterback. But anyways, I think Harrison Smith, huge factor in this game. Will he be doubling up one of the Bengals receivers if one of the DBs for the Vikings is just getting beat consistently? I could see that. You know, Dantzler, he's had a very up and down kind of career. So if he's having one of his down games and he's guarding Jamar Chase and Jamar Chase is getting off and he's getting confidence and he's getting going, Harrison Smith might have to go down there and bracket Jamar. Or if Pat Pete, let's just say he looks bad, Harrison Smith could go down there and bracket him. So that's why, yes, their advantage in this game when it comes offensively is against the Vikings cornerback group. But I don't think it will work the way they assume it will. I don't think they want Joey B dropping back and passing 40, 45 times a game. I think they're going to try to establish the run, and I don't think it's going to work. And when you can't establish the run, that means no bootlegs for the Bengals. I think it's going to be a lot of shotgun, a lot of drop back, and just throw it. It might be a lot of checkdowns for Joey B at first. And I don't really see them being able to take the top off because of Harrison Smith, because of Xavier Woods back there. The only thing that scares me is last year with Cameron Dantzler, he gave up a ton of big plays, a ton of chunk plays, and Gladney was mainly the one doing that as well. But the Vikings cannot give up chunk plays in this game because of the Bengals. You just can't let them get confidence. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has had a ton of drops in preseason. Joe Burrow also is coming off an injury. You cannot let those two get a connection or get confidence going in the first quarter or in the second quarter. So yes, the Vikings are going to come out. They'll stop the run. I'm not worried about that. I mean, the Bengals run the ball on the Vikings. I'm going to be really concerned for the rest of the year, but I just don't think that will happen. I don't see the Bengals being able to move the ball through the run with Joe Mixon and whatever they have going on. But you just can't let Jamar or T, one of those guys, start getting confidence, and then you see Burrow getting confidence. It's got to be shut down right away. Vegas has the over-under at 48.5, so they're expecting some points. This is a big game for the Vikings defense because this is not one of the most elite offenses you're going to go against this entire year. But the Bengals have a pretty good offense. They have a really good young quarterback and a really good young wide receiving core. So they need to bring it right away. This is a great test for the Vikings DBs, and I think they'll be able to handle it. Also, the Vikings DBs, number 99, Danielle Hunter, he's going to be the biggest asset to the Vikings DBs because if he is terrorizing Joe Burrow and he can't make his reads and he can't stay in the pocket as long as he wants to, watch out. Cameron Dantzler, Pat Pete might get an interception and might take it to the house. Thank you guys so much for watching. More of these matchup previews coming to you guys soon. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.